In the past, Chase and Amex have always been competing when it comes to travel credit cards, but the reality is that's no longer always the case. The past 3 years, I've redeemed more than 20,000 free travel thanks to credit cards, and today I'm here to break it all down. And in case you still have no idea what points are, cashback, miles, how it even works, and what people mean when they say they're redeeming this for travel points and hacking the credit cards, like what does all that mean? Here's a 15-second summary. Each month you spend money based on how and where you spend it. You could be earning cashback, miles, or points. Every credit card calls it different, but it's all pretty much the same. Just think of it as rewards that you're earning for spending the money that you're usually already going to spend each month. So every month you get rewards, which start adding up. What none of the usual credit card videos talk about is that based on how much you spend is what basically your rewards are based on. Not everyone is going to spend the $8,000 in order to qualify for that Amex sign-up bonus. So that's not always the best choice for everyone. So number one most important thing to know when finding which credit card is best for you is knowing how much you spend per month and in which categories: gas, dining, groceries, travel, etc. There's even a credit card that rewards you for paying rent. So if that's you, you need to do your research because you could be earning credit card points, miles, cashback just for paying the rent that you're already going to pay each month. That's the Built credit card, so go take a look into it. And while you can, yes, completely hack credit card points and miles and have the best credit card for each category in order for you to be earning the most. For example, you would have the Prime credit card when you're spending on Amazon, that special gas card when you're spending in the gas station, like all these ways. That's just not my cup of tea. It's literally a part-time job to keep track of which one has the most percentage and this and this and that. My goal is to make it simple and easy while getting the most reward, which is why we're already narrowing it down to the top 3 travel credit cards that are in the market. And we're going to compare them to see which one is best for you. Yes, there's a lot more travel credit cards available, like the Marriott, the Ritz-Carlton, the Delta, the American Airlines. I've been traveling full-time for the past 3 years. I go to a different city every month. And honestly, a lot of those cards aren't even worth it if the majority of your travel is international travel. So looking at the cards that will apply to any kind of travel, any airline, any hotel, any country, the top 3 would be the Amex Platinum, Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Capital One Venture X. With all of those, you're going to get the usual travel perks that you're looking for: lounge access, global entry, TSA pre-check, no foreign fees, travel insurance, car rental insurance, all those good things. The first thing that you actually do have to compare is the annual fee. And I'm going to be totally honest, I opened up Excel so that we could have it all visually. I was going to start getting all my data, enter it all there. And then 1 second in, I realized that my genius friend Chatty exists. So honestly, it made it 10 times easier and faster because I just typed in all the information and got this beautiful, wonderful comparison chart that we have here. As you can see with the Amex, you're paying a $695 annual fee. With the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you're paying a $550 annual fee, and then Capital One Venture X, $395. Now, just looking at the annual fee versus what that card gets you every year, because yes, cards do have sign-up bonuses, which are great. That's only the first year. If you're thinking about opening up a credit card like these that usually have a big, hefty annual fee, you have to think about the long term with this card. 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line. Will this card and will paying $695 still make sense 5 years down? The Chase, you're paying $550 each year and you're getting $300 in travel credit. With the Amex, you're paying $695 every year and you're getting $200 in airline credit, $155 Walmart Plus credit, $240 digital entertainment, $200 hotel credit, $200 Uber cash, and then $100 in Saks. Yes, it does add up to more than $695. I mean, it's cool at all, but honestly, those rewards are split up into the 12 months in the year. In order to redeem it and make the most out of this card, you have to be putting in the work. Like basically, it's a part-time job to keep up with these rewards. For 90% of the people, these rewards are not worth it. With the Venture X, you're paying $395 a year and you're getting $300 in travel credit. And what most travel credit card videos are going to forget about is that you're also getting 10,000 miles each year. That's another $100 that qualify for any type of travel purchase, bringing the total to you making $5 each year just to have this credit card open. I mean, yes, girl math, but that's not even counting all the perks you're getting, all the rewards and miles you're earning with all your monthly spend, and the sign-up bonus that you have. So just by looking at that, there's a clear winner, but you do have to start comparing the miles, cashback, or points that you're getting each month. So for this example, I'm basing it off of a $5,000 monthly spent. So you're spending $5,000. I didn't specifically categorize in what specifically, just to make it average. So we're counting the average points that you could be earning with any of these 3 cards. But since you're gonna know your real spending, you're gonna get an even more personalized answer when you know those categories. What Chatty will not tell you that I will is this. Well, yes, the Amex Platinum does seem to have a very good amount of rewards that they're giving you for that annual fee. The only way it would make sense if you're truly taking your time to maximize every single reward that you're earning. For me, it's honestly just not worth it, but if you know that you're already spending in all of those categories, then maybe take a look into it further. Now, Chase, yes, it will actually get you more bang for your buck each month because their reward is equal to 1.5 cents instead of the usual 1 cent in Capital One. But you also have to look at other details. For example, how you are actually using your credit card. Will you have family members? On all the other ones except for Capital One Venture X, adding an authorized user has a cost. That means adding your husband, wife, partner, family, kids, friends, any member. In the Capital One, for example, you can add people and you can all combine your miles so that those start adding up and you get more return. Therefore, more free travel. Capital One also makes it a lot easier to combine when you're also using their business credit card. So if you also own a business, it's a very important thing to look at. I was in Thailand and it was time to plan my flight all the way back to Miami, which is a very long flight. And of course, as somebody that travels a lot, I know that I have those long flights throughout the year. So that's what I'm always saving my miles for, those long flights that for sure I'd prefer to be in business for. So I combined my points. I also had Gabe's points because you can combine with your family members, even if it's not the same card on your authorized user. You can combine with other people. You can combine your business card points. And we booked business class flights all the way to Miami with Air France for like $1,500 each, when normally that flight costs like $5,000 each route. So how was this even possible? The ultimate hack, no matter which one you end up going for, is making sure that your rewards are worth even more by transferring them. Airlines will usually have bonus transfer points, and you need to be on the lookout when you're buying your flight to see which one has the most rewards at that moment. So instead of your miles, your points, your cashback being only worth 1-to-1 or 1-to-1.5 like it is on the Chase, you're going to even multiply those even further. And yes, you can do this process manually. With Chatty, I've tried it. It does take more time, and I've found that they're not really like that accurate as to what bonus transfer is happening at the moment. So what I personally do is I use points.me. I pay that small monthly fee and it'll tell me exactly what flight with what bonus transfer would be the best for the flight that I'm looking for at that moment based off of the points that I have. So I add in that I have the Chase, I add in that I have the Amex, I add in that I have the Capital One, and it's going to give you the best result for your specific points and your specific flight that you're looking for. This will always be the best way to redeem your points versus just booking it through the portal, no matter if it's Capital One, Amex, or Chase. So we're basically going to kick the Amex out because we know that those rewards, yes, it adds up, but it's honestly not the best. So we have the Chase and we have the Capital One Venture X. Both will get you huge travel rewards, and it honestly comes down to these three last make it or break it questions, which honestly is what makes the answer so personalized. Number one, is your top category spending each month dining? If it is, your best option would be to go with the Chase. If not, Capital One gets you the same amount of 2 times miles for any spending that you may have. So if your spending is more like random, that's the way to go. Will you have authorized users, partners, husbands, wife, kids, family members, anything like that? If yes, Capital One is the way to go, because with Chase, every time you add a person, it's about $75, and honestly, it adds up and it takes away from your rewards, so it's no longer worth it. And last but not least, can you pay the $550 down the line long term, or will the $395 annual fee be a lot easier for you? Keep in mind that just by paying the annual fee with the Capital One Venture X, you're already making $5. On the other hand, with the Chase, yes, your points each month are worth 0.5 cents more, but you are having to make that upfront payment each year. That's a lot more than the Capital One Venture X. Go ahead and comment a blue heart if you're going with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, or a red heart if Capital One Venture X is the right one for you. I'm going to leave links down below to the best sign-up bonuses that I have found currently on the market. So if you're applying for either one of those, go ahead and click the link so that you're getting the most rewards when you sign up.